Welcome to TFR Let's Talk. I'm your host Swapnil Bhartiya, and my next guest is once again Miska Kaipinian, VP of Engineering Strategy and Open Source Software at Mirantis. Miska, it's great to have you on the show again.
It's always a pleasure.
We have been talking about Lens 5 a lot. I mean, we have talked a lot about Lens 5, to be honest with you, but now's the time when it's coming out, it's available publicly. So before we get started, can you just give us a recap, ever since Lens was released into open source, the whole Mirantis acquisition, how have you seen the evolution or adoption of Lens in general?
Today we are around 210,000 users, and actually kind of interesting for us is to realize that how much our users are using Lens. So if you look at the statistics like weekly active users to monthly active users, so we have the ratio in there is like 65%, which is kind of through the roof, and that just kind of shows the value that Lens is providing for its users. Also, maybe an interesting statistics that we can see from our users is Lens is used to operate more than 160,000 clusters and over 1.3 million nodes. And that just gives some kind of scale of the usage, how much Lens is used among all our users.
With great power comes great responsibility. So as the adoption of Lens is growing, which also means you have to cater to a wider audience, which also means their needs are also different. You have to keep up with that. So if we look at Lens 5, how much of the progress, the changes, the improvements, the features that you added to it was based on what you see or what you saw from the users? How much of that use reflected in Lens 5?
I would say maybe 50-50. So of course, sometimes when you are working with some kind of innovative product, so you don't necessarily always get the right questions. And you need to really understand if user is asking about this, so actually what he needs to have is something else. And so we have been a little bit adopting on what we have been seeing our users struggling the most, and adopting that kind of rethinking that entirely and thinking what is the best possible solution we can kind of come up with to actually address the needs of our users. And one of these biggest issues that we are now really wanting to address is the complexity for users really getting access to their clusters, because it's still ridiculously difficult for users to access their Cube clusters. And with Lens 5, we want to take all that pain away.
Steve Jobs used to say that if you ask users what they want, they would say they want a faster horse cart or something like that. So sometimes, users may not be able to tell because these technologies, these things are so new. Let's talk about some of the core, features that we also talked about last time, and one of those were lens spaces.
Lens spaces is basically a new concept that we are introducing with Lens 5. So it will allow all the Lens users to come together. So if you are some kind of DevOps guy or a developer and you have been getting your Lens configured right, so you can actually start inviting your friends and your teammates and co-workers, and by inviting them to your space, that is, by the way, a centralized service that we provide behind Lens. So you can choose to share your entire kind of workspace with other users, so they can see the same clusters that you are also able to see. And what is also more interesting is that you are also able to access those clusters, and we are able to do it very securely way, so that we are not breaking any of the security best practices or anything like that. So we really wanted to make it, the space is a place where people can collaborate, the cloud native development teams come together and really kind of have an increased productivity while working with their cloud native applications.
If you look at last year, 2020, I think it was 2020. It has been so long, I don't even remember which year that was. But if you look at last year, because of the pandemic, a lot of companies, they rushed towards cloud. They've all wanted to embrace, digital transformation. Now we are kind of the hangover phase is over, and companies are kind of settling down. They're trying to see where they are, and at times they do realize that all these cloud native technologies, especially Kubernetes, they can get complicated very quickly. So they do need some hand holding, and that's where managed services come to play, because they offer some kind of balance between fully opinionated versus still having some control. So talk about the role of managed services from, of course, Mirantis's perspective, and where does Lens fit into there?
If we look at again our user statistics, so that's true that most of our users, they are actually coming from the environments where the managed Kubernetes environments are basically operating. So we have most of our users actually, they are coming from Amazon EKS environments, and on the second place we have the Microsoft Azure AKS, and on the third place the Google Cloud Platform, the GKE. So those are the kind of top three Kube products used together with Lens. And of course, the value of Lens for those people is that, Kubernetes can be a little bit boring after you have been getting it up and running, or however you get it up and running. So it might be a little bit boring. So there was all these, all these big talks about Kubernetes, but in the end, it's something that you usually experience with your terminal. So now actually what Lens can do for your Kubernetes is the same thing that Windows did for MS-DOS. So actually it makes it come alive. It becomes much more pleasant place to be in, and that's about it.
What kind of roadmap you have? What are the challenges that you want to tackle next after 5.0? Talk about what's in the pipeline.
Yeah, so in the pipeline, of course, we are always trying to fulfill some of the requests coming from the community, but kind of some big ticket items that we have on our roadmap is to bring the local Kubernetes development environments with the help of Lens. So anybody who installs Lens in the future, they are also able to boot up their own local Kubernetes development environments fully integrated with Lens and fully integrated with their VS Code or any other source code editor. So we really want to accelerate the inner development loop where the application development actually becomes much more faster. So that's kind of one area where we are now very heavily investing in. Second area is we want to actually expand Lens beyond just Kubernetes. So actually we want to reach Lens to all the connected services that somehow related to your cloud native application stack. And in there we are already working with some cloud native ecosystem vendors to build extensions to Lens to make that happen. But also we are investing even more heavily ourselves to build some of those most critical extensions. So taking Lens beyond just Kubernetes, that's really going to be one of the main themes also for this year.
What is the best way how people can get started with Lens?
The easiest way is just to go to our website, kateslens.dev, and click the big blue button on that website that says download Lens 5. And it will take you literally just like 2 to 5 minutes to get up and running.
Excellent. Miska, thank you so much once again for taking time out and talk about Lens and Lens 5 and the whole how it is evolving. And I love to have you again on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much.